we got here, man?
22 Street Glide, 107 inch. Customer's got some Vance and Hines pipes on it and some Rinehart 4.5 inch mufflers on it, stock cam, high flow air cleaner. And that's what we've been working on today. What we're looking at is we had 91.3 horsepower, 114.9, 115.1. That's the last 3 dyno runs after the tune. Try to make sure that they're all looking good, nothing's changing. So 91 and 115, let's call it that. That's gonna be our good run. I'm gonna pull it back up. Some of the things we always want to look at, people want to see a base run over the power that it made now. This customer brought this in for us today, already had exhaust changed, air filter on, mufflers on, so we didn't get the opportunity to do a bone stock base run. One thing you guys can do though real quick is you can go to DC Cycle and Racing, and you can go to the dyno tuning section, dyno charts, and then you can find any of them. So this is the M8 107, and now we can see here the base run for one. So bone stock, these bikes are about 71 horsepower, 97 foot-pounds of torque. Other stuff that we want to look at is this is in SAE, which is what I think they should all be in. The internet has kind of got us to where STD is, you see it more and more. SAE and STD is just correction factors. We try to always get into that. All you got to do is tell the dyno to give us the correction factor in the STD. It'll always show you a higher number. It's why we see more and more people use it. But this bike had 93 horsepower and 117 foot-pounds of torque and standard correction factor that you'll see on the internet a lot. So always just look up there and see what you're comparing your dyno sheet to the guys on the internet, because there is 3 or 4, I've even seen up to 7 horsepower difference in that when we get into different motors. It's not the end of the world, just some guys like to use that. So I'm going to go back to SAE.
Okay. Yeah, that's good to point out, because some people, you know, they don't know to look at that, and numbers will be way different. And they'll be like, why is his numbers lower? Well,
right.
It's all about the correction factor that you have.
And I don't even care anymore, SAE or STD. It's getting where so many people are putting it in STD for the higher number that we actually just print you both sheets. So if you come here for a dyno tune, I print you both. You use whichever one you want. Right. SAE is the most correct. If you want the highest number, you know, throw it in standard. What that kind of is though is if we dyno tune this bike today and then we dyno tune it 2 weeks from now and you used SAE, the correction factor in it will keep the number more accurate. So if you're doing engineer work or you're wanting to see if an air filter actually made those changes and stuff, you always want to use SAE because it's going to give you the most repeatable number to stay the same. STD will be just a little bit further off. It just is what it is. And I see on the internet all the time too, we'll get into that, where they say, well, if you did your base run in STD and your final run in a standard, then it doesn't matter. Well, it does. The further the conditions change, the air, you know, if you go from one dyno to the next and the sea level is way different, SAE will keep it more correct than standard will. Some of the other stuff we want to look at is I always like to check, we can go to gear ratio over RPM. We'll just go to none over here and then rescale. And this is a clutch graph, so we can kind of look and see if a customer has clutch issues and if that related to the dyno sheets or anything. Always like to do those. We usually always will print that for the customer. This one right here looks really good. You know, your M8s have a slipper style clutch in it, so it will always slip a little bit, but we're in 1 gear here, and for us it's 6 gear. And theoretically you should see a straight line across. Why we see it going down is we're actually having tire growth. So as the tire grows, the dyno sees that as gear ratio is changing, but it's really not. So you always want your graph to be going down as your tire ratio is getting bigger. It's about the easiest way that I can explain that. It'll always go up a little bit in the beginning, especially on M8s with the slipper style clutch and stuff, but you always see just a little bit. You just want to look and make sure the numbers aren't crazy. We're only talking 38.4 to like 38.6, so that's no clutch slip. And then it steadily goes down with no crazy spikes or anything that looks, you know, bad. So we get that for the customer as well. That's when we're dyno tuning the bike. So kindly what this video is about is the maps. So with MSC, we're selling those maps. So we build these maps on the dyno, and we 99.9% of the time use Power Vision as our tuner. It gives us the most maps and most tables. I mean, you can see we literally have hundreds to make our changes and to do what we need to do with it. Once we have those, you can go to MSC and you can actually buy this tune. So if you have a 107 M8 without a cam, you'll be able to go on there and purchase this map. It's been built for this setup. That's kind of what we're going to see if works out for us, because there's tons of guys that don't live by a dyno. There's tons of guys that don't have access to a dyno, have no computer skills, or want to try to learn how to tune or anything. So we're going to have those maps available. All these maps will have been built on a dyno with those setups that the customer had. We literally have thousands of dyno runs and maps. You can see that these, every one of these folders just have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of maps in them. So that's kind of where we're getting that information. They were all built on a dyno. It's not one that we just thought would run good in your bike and send it out to you.
Dave, how long have you been, there's a lot of viewers, especially on my particular channel, that they may not know the history of DC cycles and know you and all that, especially in the Harley world. They've seen you tuning, you know, CF motos and stuff like that, but you've been doing Harley business for years. So
yeah.
Give the people that may not know about your history yet.
So we've been tuning for 20 plus years. I actually tune 2 to 3 motorcycles, Harleys, on a dyno a day. We schedule these guys in for 9 and 12, and when I get done tuning those, I usually have to tune one from the shop where we put a cam in or that stuff. As far as tuning Harleys, man, it's every day, all day. Of course, you can go to our Facebook pages and stuff.
That's
and
right.
See just tons of that. DC Cycle and Racing, that's me, and my brother is Main Street Cycle.
Right.
We're brothers, and everything that we do with this ECU tuning stuff, we ship it in, will all be done through Main Street Cycle.
Right, and you can go to teammscparts.com, and that's where you'll actually be able to do those particular ECU tunes that Dave's talking about for this video.
Right. And you can't come here, that's one thing that I'm going to keep in mind for the viewers is you can't come here and get an ECU tune. It's not part of DC Cycle and Racing's business. That's MSC's business. So any ECU that you send in for those tunes or just want a map install, that has to go through MSC at mscparts.com. So just keep that in mind. Don't send an ECU to DC Cycle. You know, you got to send it there.
Because up to this point, a lot of the work that you do is customers come in for custom dyno tuning for their particular bike.
Right.
And that's what you've done for these last 22 plus years, is doing that type work. Engine work. There's behind that door there is where the operating room is
right.
for these Harleys, and it's awesome to see what all Dave has here at this shop here, and the work that all the mechanics are doing is top notch, top quality stuff. Motor work, I mean, the whole 9 yards happens right here. But then those bikes, those customers, when the work gets done, they bring them in here for a custom tune.
Right.
And that's really what you do here.
Right, just, yeah, custom tunes. So in the Harley world, we won't be able to get away with you sending in an ECU if you've done a 128 build with a big cam, crazy exhaust and stuff. It ain't gonna happen. It has to be dyno tuned on a bike dyno for that kind of stuff. But when we get into this right here, does not have a cam change. It's just exhaust with a high flow air cleaner. We can definitely set you guys up for that. It'll be a good running tune, a good running bike. Won't be an issue. Now I have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of tunes for those more aggressive packages, but every single one of them is way different.
Yeah.
So we won't never get into 128 builds or just crazy stroker motors and stuff and be able to send in an ECU for those tunes.
Yeah, that'll have to be here in-house.
Yeah, in-house. But stage 1, stage 2, we're going to start out with a lot of stage 1 stuff where, you know, it's no cam. And then we have had really good results in the stage 2 stuff, sending ECU tunes out for that. We're going to monitor that and keep track of it. And we're going to build those tunes for those packages as we go, and have those available too. So stage 1 and stage 2, you'll be able to ship in an ECU and get those at MSC.
Awesome, awesome. Well, man, this has been quite the experience for me personally. I know that you've been tuning, you know, these Harleys for years, but I've really only come around here and filmed you on the CF Moto stuff.
Right.
So this was pretty neat to see what you do on a daily basis, and see you working your magic on these Harleys. And pretty awesome, man. Do awesome work, and glad you and Steve are brothers.
Yeah. Yeah.
But anyways, guys, I hope y'all enjoyed that. I'm sure that this being a Harley, there's viewers that don't normally watch my channel, and I guess I'll introduce myself. I'm Blake Stallings. Here's my ugly mug. But man, I hope y'all enjoyed this video. We got a lot more coming. We'll do some more Harley stuff on the channel. Typically on this channel we do, you know, CF Moto, off-road, and street bikes. So just keep that in mind. But thank y'all for watching, and go to teammscparts.com for any more information on this ECU tuning. And then if you want to get some serious business done, you need to come to DC Cycles, and he can do some serious work. So
yeah.
But yeah, guys, that's big gains. That was over 20 horsepower over a typical stock run.
Right.
20 horsepower gain with this ECU tune, and the little bit of, you know, bolt-on parts that was added to this.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, and there's lots more into the tune as well. You know, the tune ain't just about how much power to make. We're extending the speed limiters on it so you guys don't hit those, extending the rev limiter on it. These newer bikes all have torque tables and all in it. What most people don't know is a stock Harley, you can give it 100% throttle, and let's say at 2,000 RPM, it's only going to open the throttle body up like 60–70%. So you can't have what you're asking for. Once you get it tuned, you can. We modify all that stuff, so if you want 100% throttle at $2,000, you can have it now. We give you what you're asking for. Harley kind of smooths it out for new riders, beginner riders. Lots of reasons in there that it's done. If you want the bike to perform like we want it to, then a tune's the way to go. Guys, once again,
teammscparts.com if you want an ECU tune for your Harley. And any more advanced work that you would like on top of that, you can check out DC Cycles and Racing. So guys, hope you enjoyed it. God bless y'all. As always, remember to keep it real. We'll see y'all in the next one.